We are ready to talk about Adriana Sachs' journey with her autism turnaround. And I'm so excited about this. We've been setting this up for over a period of time. We've been talking about getting together, going back to where it all began, and catching up on what's happened in your life. And the reason why I think it's so important, Adriana, and thank you so much for taking the time to bring your story to other moms, is that stories bring hope and clarity in a world where hope is not common because we're being told there's nothing you can do. And most of the experts still don't know half or even a tenth of what you have learned throughout your own personal journey. And I want to give the power back to moms through stories. So thank you so much for wanting to do that, and tell everyone a little bit about yourself. Who are you and how did this all begin, from the darkest moment of the soul in your life with autism?
Yes, sure. Okay, so my name is Adriana and I'm 40-year-old, and I live in UK, and I came here in 2006, and I live here with my partner, and I'm originally from Poland. My partner is Portuguese, and we've got son. His name is Hugo, and he's 7 years old, and he's the most amazing person I've ever known. And when Hugo was 4-year-old, he was diagnosed with autism. And to be honest, I could say that there were signs like since he was a little baby, like tiny baby. And he didn't really like artificial lights. So whenever we would just enter, like whenever we would go like to the supermarket, let's say, he would just start really screaming, but really screaming. So it was really impossible to even go to the shop. Then he also had like problems with sleeping. So of course, for a tiny baby, just a newborn, this is what they just do. They just sleep. And he actually had difficulties into like settling into sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing was, yeah, well, so they were like really like this, you know, the first sign. But of course, like at first, we wouldn't really think anything because he was still really little. And then he was reaching like most of the milestones at the correct time. But more or less when he was like 1-year-old and a half, he would stop napping at all. So he wouldn't have a nap during the day at all. And also at night, there were problems to just put him to bed. And at the same time, he had like loads of energy.
What did that look like? So how did that play out, that overload of energy? What did that look like?
So it really looked like his brain was not able to like process sitting at all. Like, so he would be just like really running from the kitchen to the living room, from the living room to the kitchen. Like, I was not able to actually just keep him on my lap. So like he wouldn't stay in my one place at all. He would be just moving around all the time. So it was really exhausting sometimes. And another thing, like what he would do, we were not actually able, when he was already like 1 year and a half, let's say, or 2 years old, like we were not able to just go again like to the supermarket.
Yeah.
He would have to be always like strapped to the pushchair. So we wouldn't be able to just release him from the pushchair, because he would be just running straight away in totally different direction that we wanted him to go, and he would be putting himself into this dangerous situation. So he would be just running into busy streets, like there are no cars in there. So he didn't really have like this sense of danger at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I would also say from like the other like quite dark moments for me, that was like I was in complete fight or flight all the time. I couldn't really relax and go with him like anywhere. And what else?
What were your thoughts around? So this was before the diagnosis?
Yeah, so it was before the diagnosis. It was just like, I already, like, when he was 2 year old, we put him to nursery. We just thought like maybe he's gonna just copy the other children, maybe he's gonna learn how to socialize, but this didn't really happen. So even at first, it was a nursery staff who just pointed out to us that maybe he just cannot hear, because he wasn't reacting to his name. He was not doing what they wanted him to do at all. So she just suggested maybe just take him for the hearing test. So this is what we first did. But of course, the hearing test turned out to be completely fine.
Yeah.
And then we started all of the assessments with the pediatrician. And he was just diagnosed like when he was 4 year old, for the reason that like in UK, they wouldn't rather diagnose like a little child, like 2 year old. They would rather give them some time to just maybe develop, and maybe the situation would change.
Yes. Yeah, that's a bit different to the US. Here in Europe,
Mm.
they take more time, which I actually think is good. So how did that affect your family, and what type of lifestyle did you have before, during, and after giving birth to your son?
Yeah, so of course, like before giving birth, like we would be quite like a relaxed family, or like a relaxed as like as a partners. So when Hugo came, then I would just say that previously we wouldn't be actually arguing between each other at all. But the argument started when the problem started with like pre-autism, or like when you already knew that Hugo has got autism. And so of course we would be just blaming each other for the things like he wouldn't do or like he would do. So it wasn't like really nice situation at all, and we couldn't like really cope. We didn't really know how to cope with like all of these feelings, and like how to process them and kind of like release them and get on with what we have to basically do to help our child. Yeah, so also,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I just wanted to add also that like some of the things were like, now as we're looking at them, they are like quite funny to talk about. But like Hugo, for example, was at some point like obsessed with vegetables and fruit, but he was treating them as their friend, as his friends, let's say, and he would be always playing with them in this like really obsessive and rigid way. So I had to like, or he had to have like a new fruit or new vegetable like every day to his collection, and he was just like lining them up, or sometimes they had to just like touch each other, sometimes they had to be apart, and it all just made like sense for him, not for anybody else, but like he knew what he was doing, so it was quite funny. I mean, like now I'm thinking that's funny, but at the time it was quite like exhausting, because we were not able to go and see family or friends, because the first thing he would be doing when he would be entering somebody's house would be just running to the fridge and taking all the fruit and veg out. So of course they didn't mind, but it's just like a little bit embarrassing situation to deal with. Yeah, so there also this kind of things. Yeah, he was doing.
Many of us have these embarrassing situations. For me, it was my son turning himself into an animal, preferably a dog, barking, licking people, jumping up, and the whole thing every time we went somewhere. So they have different coping mechanisms in those dark phases of autism. What kind of foods, where did you live? So when you look back at who you were and the choices you made, what was different to what you do now?
So so he didn't, well, when he was 1 year old and a half, like he really kind of like stopped eating. So we were really struggling for him to just like introduce some new foods. He would be just really eating like some plain things, and no fruit, no vegetables, nothing like that. And we still live at the same place where we used to live,
Yes.
like when the autism started. But like I could just say that, like, for example, where I come from, like I from Poland, is the really like, it's the region called Silesia. So it's like really industrial. Like there is not really a lot of like forests in there. There's like everything around the mines, and like it's, let's say, like the most polluted place in Poland.
Mhm.
So yeah, so that's really where I was born and where I come from. Yeah, so like when I actually moved in here, I've got like more nature around, and we've got more places where we can go and just ground, or we
Yeah.
can just go for the walks like in nature, or like to the beach or to the forest.
Okay, so take us back to, maybe we'll talk about some of the things that might have led to autism in your case. But before we talk about where you're at now, which is a completely different place, what happened around the diagnosis? How long did it take? And how did it feel? So if I'm a fly on the wall going through that situation with you again, take me by the hand and lead me back to that time.
Mhm. So I just exactly remember, of course, like I remember the day when we entered the doctor's office, when she was giving us the diagnosis. And of course, till the really last second, I was really hoping she's gonna say it's not autism. Um, Even though I've already done like my own research, and because of course it was already 2 years when we were living with it, so of course I read already a lot. So I kind of knew
Mm.
inside myself that this is autism. But the one when she actually confirmed, and when she said that yes, this is autism, probably I just my face probably just really changed, because she just asked me like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?"
Mm.
And I don't know why, but I just kind of your mindset that I straight away thought that yeah, I'm okay. Are you able to just now tell me what kind of therapies can you offer? How can we now help you go? And I remember she just said that, oh, we actually don't really do any therapies in here. So everything like this kind of therapeutic work is done through the educational system, which today I really know it's not true at all.
Okay.
Uh, and she only gave us like a one piece of paper and like few leaflets, and there were the list of the organizations where we could actually like get some advice from. So we just went home after this meeting, and it's kind of, I knew straight away that I have to do something to help him. But we just went through all the list, and there were different organizations, but like everything was more like based on acceptance.
Mhm.
And fine, acceptance is fine. It's just I didn't really want to stay there for too long. So
Yeah.
I just knew that I have to do something to help my child. So then I just started joining like first like some Facebook groups, like Autism Mama groups. And I think the first one I joined was one called Leaving the Spectrum, because
Mm.
when they diagnosed with autism, they just saying that this is not autism but autistic spectrum now. So
Yeah.
I joined this group, but I didn't really like find like any information there, like how to actually really leave the spectrum. And so I joined also few other groups. Then I also followed like some mamas on Instagram who are presenting the stories of their children. But I never like really felt that like I belonged to these groups. There was a lot of like victimhood, or like this mentality, like why me, like
Yeah.
yeah, everything like based on victimhood basically, and complaining more.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like so when I actually found you, when I found your group, I was like, yeah, this is definitely what I was looking for a long time. So it's just like everything resonated with me like so much, so deeply, that I just knew that this is definitely what I want to do, and that's where I'm
And
yeah,
and
still working
and
with you. So
how long ago is that? If for people who just are coming into this and don't know you, how long ago is
Mhm.
that? Oh,
So I joined the Barefoot Autism Warriors in January last year. So like over a year, yes.
and can you describe what happened? What changed? What did you remember about healing and health from an intuitive place, from this deepest wise wisdom, source of wisdom that we all have within us? Because this is something that I really think it's important, that every mom, in my experience, has the tools to go through autism and get her child to a better place. So I am always in awe about the things that I learn from every single mom, because every mom has a sacred journey that's different to the other mom. So all we do in the community
Yeah.
is to actually walk each other home. So what did that look like for you, that journey home? Because you searched for it from that place of wisdom. You searched for your tribe who could walk you home. What happened, and how did you reconnect to that wisdom?
So just the other thing I just wanted to mention, that like how like all it was like synchronized perfectly, that like uh last year in January, just actually when I found you, my son was just permanently excluded from school.
Mm.
And that was exactly, I think, on the day when the mindset course started. So I just kind of like, of course, like I was all devastated, like what happened. Today I just know that it was really like a blessing in disguise, this exclusion.
Yeah.
Uh, but at the time, of course, like I was in a place nobody would like to be, and I had a lot of help from, of course, like from my partner, from my best friend, or from the colleagues at work. But I think like when I actually dive deeply to the mindset course, there was also this thing when I changed completely this like mentality about and the way I'm thinking about autism, and the way also I'm thinking about myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I really just like listen to your words, and that that you go first and your child will follow. So I started really working on myself. um, and I had to first learn like how to meditate, and how to just change this like subconscious belief about autism, and about like the way I'm seeing myself. um, yeah, so I started meditating, and of course at the beginning it wasn't really easy at all, because the whole body was itchy, and like I couldn't really stay in one place for just longer than 2 minutes.
No.
But I really yeah, so I really like persevered with it and didn't give up. And also the brain primers helped from the mindset course. So today, like meditation is like my really daily practice,
Mm.
and that's like what's really important, like how I'm starting the day, just giving me this sense of like confidence for the whole day, gives me this motivation. So this is like one thing. Of course, grounding is not like the most important thing. So me and my son, we've got like this ritual in the morning. We would always go outside to the garden before he starts school and before I go to work. And we would just stay on the grass, even for like 2 minutes,
Yes.
when it's like really cold. So sometimes it's hard to do it longer. Um, but like it's really important to just keep this routine. So then when the summer will come, like then we just barefoot all day.
Yeah.
um, Another thing which we incorporated really, which we haven't done a lot before, was the daily walks. So just really like even to go like for a walk with the dog, to go to the seaside, to go to the forest. So we really enjoying like every minute in nature. And the best part is really to go for a walk during the sunset. So this way we're just releasing this melatonin, and it's actually that his sleeping pattern really improved after that. So I can really say that it does work. And it's also like feels like so healing, and just every minute in nature, like it's really important for us. And just breathing, just like getting this sunlight.
So that
Yeah.
was
And
that
I
was
would also say that
the first thing that you did was to go in nature every day and go for walks and get exposed to sunlight to
yes,
balance the
yes,
hormones and the sleep and
yes.
many body clocks. The rhythms of nature is what regulates that. What did you so you were saying something else about what you were doing?
Yeah. So first I just had to really we just had to calm down our bodies in nature. So this is what I really believe that like you can do in nature. You can just find this peace, and there are definitely like healing frequencies in nature. So we really felt this on our own bodies. So we can definitely confirm that. And another thing is this sleep. So I could say that in the past, sleep was something I didn't really value at all.
Yeah.
And I was even this person who would be always staying late. So really, like my son was really following me with this. And I know now that that's not really what I should be doing. And I could even say that I would be even proud before that, like, I don't really need so much sleep.
Yeah.
But I know now that this is nothing to be proud of at all. Not at all. And when you have a child with autism, or like when you have any child really, you have to your child really deserves and requires your full attention. And when you sleep deprived, you cannot really give them this full attention. And it's really important to just like show up like as the best version of yourself, and the healthiest version of yourself. And this is definitely how you can do it, like through just having the restful sleep. That's when your body restores and repairs. So this is also like what we really value today, and we didn't in the past at all.
How is
Yeah. And another thing is also with the food. So yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah.
There's a bit of delay.
Yeah. So with the food, we also like yeah, we also change like the way how we eat, what we eat, and what we drink. And drink, at least like I drink plenty of water and eat lots of vegetables, and really change my diet. Like I have to just like admit that like with Hugo we're still working on it, so it is like a little bit slower with him, but he is now a lot more keen to try new food. Like just the other week, like he like tried blueberries and bananas, which he actually never tried before. So we're trying to oh before he was also really craving sugar, but really like, and today he already knows that sugar, even says like himself that sugar is not good for him, like that.
Wow.
So yeah, so we change, we're still working on it, like it's really like still work in progress, but we're getting there. Yeah. And we understand like how important it is.
What is the biggest change in his symptoms and the life that he lives and the life you live as a family now? If you described before that he was kicked out of school and he had this ritualistic behavior,
Mhm.
eloping, stress, no sleep.
Yeah.
What does it look like
Mhm.
today now? How has
Mhm.
his life changed and your life changed for it?
Mhm. So yeah, so if I would just like compare him to Hugo like last year, or like before he was excluded from school. So the reason why he was actually excluded was that he was really disrupting during the lessons, and he would be like pushing children and not really looking at the consequences of it, or like he wouldn't really understand like that this may have some consequences, and he would be even like pushing teachers if they said something he didn't like, or they would be like asking him to do things. So yeah, so for this reason he was excluded, and today he doesn't do this at all. So he's not pushing children at all today. So this kind of like this aggressive behavior like has been removed. So during, he also learned how to ride a scooter, and he was trying many times before, and he was always giving up. But like at the beginning of the year, he tried, and he didn't give up. He really persevered, and now he's riding a scooter like any other child, I would say. So this really amazing to see. It's really important also to celebrate this like small successes for us. So this is like really amazing. And the other thing, like his attention span, he really increased. So a year ago, he would not concentrate on any task for like longer than honestly like 2 minutes, and there was always like this constant battle for him to do something. So I would always have to argue with him and then promise him something like some reward. Today he really wants to try new things, and I don't have to convince him. Like he is actually open to like any ideas, and he can, when he's interested in something, he can really like spend like few good minutes on it. So attention span, definitely. He also, speech is amazing thing. So I do believe that like when I kind of like started speaking my truth, and when I open up with me speaking up, he started like a year ago, he would be communicating in just single words, and or sometimes he would be having some sentences, but they were not sometimes corresponding to the situation. So there were like some learned phrases, let's say, from, I don't know, from like YouTube he was watching. Today you can have like a mini conversation with him. It's still not like, he doesn't communicate yet as the child his age would do, but like it's a lot better. Like it is really progressing. So
Beautiful.
It's really great to see. And and his general like movement and posture is like, I would really say like there isn't much difference between like the other like children. Well, before he was really clumsy. He would be not able to drink from a glass at all. Another thing, that he started drawing, and he never ever drew in his life before. So like if I would be putting like some paints or color pencil in front of him, he would be always refusing, just running away. And now we can actually do like some piece of art together. So like he would be like coloring something, and like he would be just coloring one page, I would be doing another one. So we just working together on something. And for me, it's also important because I also really believe that like this, there is also this like power of colors. They have like some like therapeutic properties, also some benefits. So I think this is also good thing. And he also can now dress up himself. So I always had to help him with anything, with the socks, with the with trousers. Like he was not able to do anything, and this was kind of like, say like a miracle, because one day he actually he got up and he left his room with the clothes on, And we were just like, what has just happened? Like, who actually dressed him up? And he actually dressed himself. And since then, this day, he's able to do it.
Mm.
So sometimes he would just put like something upside down on like, but it's like a big progress. Yeah. He also learned the concept of time, so he knows exactly what day it is and like what month. He wouldn't ever be wrong with it. He's also good at math at school. Like they would always like praise him. He can add up and deduct like in his head, and he's actually never wrong.
Wow, 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 wow.
So yeah,
It's
so I would just say
amazing.
like it's really like it is really like, yeah, I would say that he progressed like comparing to the last year where he was before he was excluded from his previous school and where he is now. It's like really just amazing. That's the one word.
Yeah, it sounds like a completely different child. What has the response been?
Yeah.
So you were in this whole system of diagnosing and given no hope of change. What's the response been in the established system, and what's your view of the way that we take children through the diagnostic process? You know, what do you see as missing links and gaps, and how do they look at you and view you now?
Mm-hmm. So of course, I well, what I could say that we, even though we tried like to get a lot of help, we didn't really get a lot of help from any really establishment. So we, for example, we done the occupational therapy, but we had to just finance this ourselves. So it was like when Hugo was 3-year-old. Yeah, this is what we've done before he was even like diagnosed. Well, he was diagnosed. We just thought there would be like some more help. There would be like let's say like speech and language therapists like he would have, but like we had to just wait, I think 2 years, and then like speech and language therapist would just see him like once or twice and just done like some reports. So everything is like based to just looking at the child and just produce a report, but not the actual advice or like what exactly. So we didn't really get much help at all, I would say. Yeah, so you just have to really more like rely on yourself.
What about the autism mom communities? What has surprised you most about those communities and the organizations where you were sent to get help and support?
Yeah, so mostly those kind of places, they all like based on acceptance. So you just have to, they will just give you some advice that this is the autism is the long life developmental disorder, and you just have to learn how to live with it and how to cope. So there is nothing really, so they will just only give you like an advice what you can do, but this is like nothing really helpful, I would say. So something you could just read from any book like about autism. So
Mm.
I could also say that like at some point I was also in acceptance. So I was also there at some point during my autistic journey. And thanks God, like I didn't really stay there for too long. But I can also understand this point of view, because you can only understand from, or you cannot really judge people like, because they would only understand from their level of understanding.
Yeah.
So maybe like for some, like for some autism mamas, acceptance is their path. So I wouldn't, this is what they're choosing, this is what they're choosing. So not everybody wants to like choose this path of a warrior, and because it's also
Yeah.
not really easy journey. But
What's the most difficult part of that journey, seen from your perspective, to choose the warrior journey, which is not the same as staying in acceptance? Because there's a lot of resistance towards that whole concept as well in the community.
Mhm. So of course, when you don't accept something, then you just have to find more ways of dealing with the situation. So there is like, so this kind of choosing this path of a warrior is more like you just need to have like a lot of determination, a lot of work, and you just have to not just work on your child but also on yourself. So it's not really easy journey at all. So it's maybe not for everybody, and that's absolutely fine. Yeah.
What's been the hardest part of that for you? What's been some of the things that's been really hard for you to let go of or go through as a warrior mom?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what would be the hardest point? So like I would say sorry, I just lost the thought.
It can be difficult to remember what's been the hardest part because things change so quickly. But we can also go to talking about, so if you were yourself in the beginning of this journey, is there anything you would have done differently that you would say is your best piece of advice for new moms who are there? They might suspect something's up. They might even just have gotten a diagnosis for their child. What would you wish that you had known that you can pass on to a new mom who's in that situation?
So what I would say that like what I would advise to myself, or what when I just started the journey, or like what I would advise now to all the moms, that like you need to really find this like inner guidance within yourself, and you need to really respect yourself as a healer, because you are this really this missing puzzle piece. So like you, or this child is like a part of yourself. So therefore, like you will definitely know the answer. Like, so do not let like anybody to tell you how your future or the future of your child is going to be, because this is really like your journey, your path. And don't also delegate this journey to anybody else, because you are definitely like capable of doing it. And you know, if you just tap to your intuition, and all the answers are really within yourself, so you will know what to do to help your child. And I do really believe that like a lot of the answers are in the nature. So if you just go out in nature, breathe deeply, uh, stay outside, and there are the healing frequencies in nature. What else I would say that
Has your partner been on board with all of it, or has there been any skepticism along the way that you've had to deal with?
yeah, so my partner, so I would say that like he would be like, yes, skeptic, like as to some of the things, and some of the things he would accept. So like he would always like as far as the daily walks are concerned, so we would actually go for a walk as a family. And like he was not maybe of a fun like before, but now he really enjoys the walks. Also in terms of like eliminating the sugar from the diet, like he's also like a big supporter of that. Or Hugo using the iPad or the phone, he would also really support like in Hugo not doing this like at all. Like, oh, Hugo was at some point like really addicted to gaming. So we had to really battle against this, and we went like through a lot together, like because he had like this meltdowns, and he was really protesting. He really wanted to still be able to play, but we just definitely said no, this is not going to happen no more. And he was also like really supportive with this. Yeah.
How did you do that?
Yeah.
So you removed it and took it out of his life, or because I know this is an issue for many moms.
Yeah.
What was the strategy for you?
So the other thing which we also done was this social media detox, I would say, and we're still doing this with you. So, and I really, really feel that this is also like the part of this healing part of the journey on this missing puzzle. So it's really calming down the nervous system, and it's really, really helping. So when I just started doing the social media detox, he was really addicted, like at the time with gaming. Like he was, I think, playing like Angry Birds at the time, and at the beginning, I even thought that this is not that bad, like because like he would be just like working on his manual skills, let's say. But then the problem started when he couldn't pass to the next level, so he was just getting like a huge tantrum, and he would be throwing um, the iPad. So we just knew that like we just have to remove it. And at some point, he actually got so angry that he threw the iPad to the swimming pool outside. So we just knew that this is definitely the end of it. So like this is definitely the sign that we just have to finish with it. So he was still thinking that he would be able to just take my phone, let's say, and just still play. But we just let him know really confidently that that's not the case. This is not going to happen no more. So we went a little bit like through hell, I would say, because he was really protesting. He still wanted uh, to play those games. And today, I would just say I wouldn't say that like he's completely like free of the like he doesn't do any gaming no more.
Perfect.
But he would sometimes watch some like some videos
Yeah.
on YouTube, like let's say like about Lego, which is like his passion. So he would still watch, but like he knows now where the boundaries are. So he knows that like during the like in the evening he wouldn't be able to do it at all. So we would ban this like during the evening, like when the sun goes down, like he's not able to do it no more. And he actually learned that that's fine, like he's not protesting no more. So he's got the days when he wouldn't even ask for it, like he wouldn't use the phone at all. uh, there are the days when I would just give him sometimes, but he doesn't have his own iPad now, and we're not really planning to do it at the minute. No.
What is he doing instead of gaming now?
So we actually more like he really, really wants like my attention more. So he's involving me into like this drawing. So he's involving me into like his small games. So yeah, so I'm just like constantly with him, or like or my partner, or we're just going to um for the walks
Yes.
during the usually like during the evening. Yeah, so we're trying to be like really as much in the nature as possible, in the garden even. So
Yes, getting rid of these stress hormones is really important. That's what builds up
yes.
over the day in a super active brain. And that I know it's been a challenge for you, this whole feeling of then now do I have to be available all the time? Do I have to be the iPad? But that's part. It was part of the process for me, and it is for many moms that there's a
Mhm,
phase where we have to also realize what we are using these crutches for, and sometimes it was for me to stay distant and to step out of my role as a parent, because it is a tough journey that we go through as parents, and as
mhm,
parents with autistic children it's
mhm,
just that much more demanding, because the parenting and the boundaries and the being the example, the leadership is so crucial, and it can be extremely time consuming, especially in the younger years. So I understand why people choose not to do that, but I would not change the challenging part of that detox, which I really, really admire you for being able to stick to. How did you take leadership and set those boundaries? How did you learn to do that in this process?
So there was a long process, I think, and like I cannot even say like how did I learn this, but like somehow he does listen to what I say more. As before, like he would be totally ignoring me, like, and still doing what he wants to do. But today he's even, before he will do something and he will think that maybe there's something I wouldn't really approve. So he's always looking at my face first, like what's my reaction. So that's what I noticed, like he's always checking if I will first approve something before he will do it.
Wow, yeah, that's social
Yeah.
skills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. As
So
for the social,
if you're looking at the future now compared to what the future looked like when you were looking into the future, sometimes it can even be too scary to do. But if you did think about the future around the time when you got the diagnosis and there were all the eloping and the stimming, the ritualistic behavior, not being able to go shopping, how does the future look for you now as a family and for you personally and for him compared to back then?
Mhm. So I definitely 100% now believe into this, that autism turnaround is possible. So this is the first thing. I definitely changed this mindset around the autism, that like it's definitely there is something we can do.
Mhm.
And it definitely, like, it requires our determination and just really our overcoming ourselves, like every day, day by day. And it requires also a lot of patience, but I truly believe that like this is possible. And I used to see first, like when autism happened to be, like at first I just saw it as like my biggest enemy. Well, today I don't really think that this is an enemy. I think like it's my biggest teacher.
Mhm.
So thanks to autism, I could also say like I'm quite grateful, because I'm becoming better person, better mother, better partner. So it's taught me like so many things which I wouldn't be able to do without it. Um, and I'm really, really sure that like one day Hugo will be independent, and he will not actually require my help at all. And this is like what 100% I do believe.
That is so amazing. So to round that up, Adriana, and to leave moms with maybe the 3 or 4 best and most effective things that you've done throughout your turnaround process, what would they be? So if you were to meet someone who were like you were before you turned these symptoms around, what are the most effective things that you've done that you would tell any mom, go ahead and do this, because that's made a big difference in the symptoms for us?
Mhm. Yeah, so first thing, just to, before you will do anything else, like just to try to calm down your nervous system, and this can be done in nature. So like a lot of grounding. We also do the grounding while we sleep. So and especially during the summer, or when it's the nice day, we'll just be really all day barefoot. And like my son now, he doesn't even want to have like shoes no more or socks. Like he would always be at home like
Mm.
with actually barefoot. um yeah, so grounding, then the daily walks, which really doesn't cost you anything, and it's so healing and it's so life changing. And it was really like a game changer for me, like the daily walks. And so just living more according to this circadian living. So going out on the grass like during the morning hours, and then also during the evening. So this way, this melatonin would be released, and it will be a lot easier to actually go to bed. And also, as I mentioned before, like I didn't really value sleep before, but now we go to bed a lot earlier, and I really, really feel totally as a different person in the morning. And I've got like more energy through the whole day. So all this like sleeping habits, and I would also say that the meditation just also to calm your system down, like so your nervous system down, and just to change this subconscious belief about autism, and also removing the sugar from your diet, and just like trying really to eat healthy and drink water, clean water. So
yeah, so those are the things that you have done, and it's actually really, it's not expensive, it's not extreme diets, it's no protocols, no testing, no expensive therapists even. And that's what I want to thank you to bring to the for bringing to the table, that it doesn't have to be super complicated or expensive, because what these children actually are here to do is to remind us of the foundation of the many things that we do in a modern society that isn't aligned with health and truth and unity and bonding in a family and healthy development. So to get our children to the best possible outcome, I just want to thank you so much for being an example and for being willing to share these tips and these experiences with other moms. If anyone wants to contact you or find you online or read more about you or follow you, is there anywhere they can get access to you?
So, well, on Facebook, just with my name, which my name is Adriana Jacques. It's Adriana, like Adriana ZAK. And then I'm also on Instagram as, I believe, Adriana555. I think that's my.
Yeah, this one. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much, Adriana, for being here for other moms, and for being such a beam of light and hope. And congratulations on your dedication and the many results that you've seen throughout that. As a result of that, your courage and your determination, I know it's not for everybody, but for those who have that, who feel when they're listening to you, there's something there that resonates, there's something there that feels like it could be for me. We hope that this will be an inspiration for you to get back to foundation and listen to that intuition, and don't believe that there's nothing you can do, because we see it all the time, that when we change, symptoms change. So thank you so much, and good luck with everything in the future as well, Adriana.
Thank you so much, Inka, and I really feel so honored and so grateful for everything. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Me
you.
too,
Thank
really
you.
deeply. Thank you.
Thank you.